Hello and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video, and for this one it is Soulless, which is another fairly recent release. This was released in 2012, as you saw in the intro sequence. It's by Psytronik again, and it is by old Georg and Trev again. This is probably the most well-known of the Psytronik releases. This game is actually available to download for free, so I have the cartridge version, which was distributed by RGCD. So, well, let's fire her up then. So, we've already had the background story, which is that you are a king who, frankly, I think is a bit of a fucking brain dead cunt, because he's had this spell cast on him. Fuck it. And he's been in this prison for 1,000 years, and now thanks to this earthquake he's escaped, and he wants to go around restoring peace to the kingdom. I would be thinking, fuck the kingdom, they left me here to fucking rot for 1,000 years. I'd go out there and fucking shit all over the country. And for all we know, this may have actually happened somewhere. I mean, it would explain Donald Trump. Anyway, so the idea is that you have to find your soul, which was taken from you as a result of that curse. And to do this, you have to find the various like specific keystones or spell stones. I forget what they're called now. Within this like platform game, and I mean the fucking hell, I keep fucking up the jumping. He does jump rather quickly. It's not always easy to be precise. Now, I was about to say something there, and I completely lost track of what I was going to say. Yeah, the presentation does kind of remind you of Shadow of the Beast, and of course, well, the character on the main, or rather the graphics, you know, the main character, the main sprite, you, also reminds you of that. Then you get this element of the gameplay, searching objects, and straight away you may think that looks rather similar to Impossible Mission. Well, you'd be wrong. It doesn't look similar to it. It's a fucking blatant copy of it. Now, this thing here that I knelt down gave me a energy recharge, and it's also a restart point. I didn't fucking look at what that was that I found, but I know it's not vital. Most of the stuff you find just give you points. Yeah, gold. And the big ruby, which you find an awful lot of. Stone amulet, that gives me limited invincibility, which is quite handy, but it doesn't last very long. I can't remember what the Spirit Stone does, but I know it's something useful. Oh, the Spirit Stone is one of the things you have to find, that's it. You need to, oh fuck it, you need to find 12 of these Spirit Stones, and then you have to set them in the correct order. Oh fuck it. Let's wait for this fucking thing to fire. Oh for fuck's sake. Okay, so the objects are set in a random order then, because when I played this in a warm-up go, I found another Spirit Stone in that object underneath the gargoyle that's shooting fireballs at you. Oh, bollocks. Yeah, from around here onwards there are multiple routes that you can take to get around, and it becomes more like a fucking arcade adventure. So yeah, this is one of those games where one go can last a fair old while. So with that in mind, let's get the review underway already. Oh fuck it, I can't be asked to piss about with that thing. Here we have a key which I need. There is a locked door somewhere, except that door will now be open, so fucking yeah. Anyway, yeah, so let's get the review underway. Graphically, you really can't fault the game. The colour palette looks more than a little impressive. It does look like it is using a number of colours that are not actually, natively supported by the Commodore 64. Oh fucking hell, trying to get round past this bit is such a fucking pain in the arse. So yeah, so colours are great. I mean the definition is pretty good when you consider that the Commodore 64 isn't exactly, blessed with a particularly high definition display. Blue magic would destroy any creatures that are in the area, except there weren't any. So, okay, red magic. Oh, okay, it's the red magic that does that. Now I just found green magic. One of them, I think it's a green magic, slows all of the enemy creatures down. Unfortunately, rather like Jet Set Willy, even if you have destroyed all of the creatures, when you return to a particular level, or if you return to the screen rather that had been destroyed, they're all back there. So I found gold. I could do with something a bit more useful. I could also do with searching some more of these. Green magic again. It looks like, yeah, it is the green magic that slows the enemy creatures down. Trouble is, that thing is in a bit of an awkward place, so bollocks to it. Well, I can search all of these, no problem. There you go, so red magic, that's destroyed everything on screen. Alright, so now we are at the reset point. So now if I lose a life, I will start here. If you don't use any of those reset points because you think, oh, my health's still fine, I don't need to worry about it, and then you lose a life, the game puts you right back at the fucking start. Which is, to say annoying, a masterpiece of understatement. I didn't even see what that was I had picked up there. I'm trying to search this last thing, but fucking what a irritating place to put it. Gold. After all that, it wasn't that great. Now this is the door that you need to get through, you know, that I picked up the key for. If I didn't have the key, this, you can just see the bottom of the door there. That would be shut and I wouldn't be able to get through it. So we enter the next section of the dungeon. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, so graphics wise, yes, great. Audio wise, I think the music is pretty good, and we actually get music and sound effects, and they've done something which I can't believe hasn't been done before, which is that the music is 2-channel, so the sound effects don't interfere with the music playing. I'll try to get up there without losing any energy. Failed, but there we go, at least I got up there. Now this, believe it or not, is the furthest I've ever got. Bollocks. After all that. Ah, you cunt. Alright, so there you go. So now I'm going to go back to the last reset point, or restart point, whatever you want to fucking call it. To put it mildly, I find restart points on a multi-screen platform game a fucking pain in the arse. I don't like it. More to the point, I don't know why it's been done this way. Oh, it's frozen everything, which is great, which means it's like that stone had been frozen in such a position that I had no way of getting past it without getting hit. Nice one. But herein lies a bit of the problem with this game, is that there we go, I found a second spirit stone. Oh, fuck's sake, now I've got to go all the way back around here again to get back in the right place here. Yes, the things like the the restart points, and the fact that the game is so fucking unforgiving. If you make one fuck up, it will often put you in somewhere where you then have to take a hell of a long way to try and get to the position you were in. And yeah, that becomes annoying. Fuck it, let's go up here. And for that reason, and it really is just that reason, I can't get up there, so I've got to go the long way. I'm not a huge fan of the game. I don't see why it was necessary. I'll get another spirit stone. Yeah, I don't see why it was necessary to have these fucking restart points. Second spirit stone. Found it. I didn't even... oh, fuck it. Didn't even see what that was that I picked up. Fuck that jump up. Didn't see what that was either, but it looks like it was a stone amulet. Didn't see what that was either. So, some rather stupid design decisions have rather ruined the appeal of the game. So it looks great, and in terms of audio, it means it sounds great. But the gameplay, well, I'm not the biggest platform gamer fan going anyway, which I'm sure may seem a bit strange considering that I think Impossible Mission is the greatest game of all time. But with Impossible Mission, it had a lot of stuff to make up for it. The atmosphere of it was fantastic. In terms of the audio and whatever, it was unlike anything I'd heard before. It was one of those games that had me thinking when I first saw it that I didn't even know the computer or Commodore 64 or whatever could do that. So it was certainly impressive. This is definitely one of those games where you would help if you could make a map, because I haven't got a fucking clue where I am now. I certainly needed that. And I mean, the biggest hindrance is this whole business of having restart points everywhere. I know I keep banging on about it, but I do think that they ruin the game. I would go that far. See, this area looks easy, but of course, as you jump up through the platform, bollocks! Jump up through the platform. Oh, that's handy. Okay, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. But you do get some visual clues telling you where these spirit stones that you've picked up, where they are supposed to go. So you have to have them put in the right order. Oh. I think that's frozen that little shit. Let's go this way. No idea why, it's just that I haven't been this way before. Well, I haven't been anywhere around this area before. This is by far the furthest I've got. And the reason it's the furthest is because normally by now I've lost interest. The fact is that with it being a platform game, it has to be something pretty fantastic to keep me, you know, wanting to play it. And it's not shit, but there are aspects of it that turn what could have been a pretty good game into something that is not one I'm going to remember for any of the right reasons. If they'd kept it so that when you lost a life you just restarted somewhere in the same room, that would have been fine. And if they'd, to be honest, if they had the instructions written a bit better, because the instructions are not the clearest you'll ever see. Again, that would have helped. But as it doesn't have either of those things, this is another door that I need to open, so I need a key for this area. I'm certainly not going to find it there. Oh, I need to go back this way anyway. Alright, this looks like this is just a one-way. Oh, alright. Alright, so we have another creature following me around. Bollocks up that, and that was my last life. Either that or he just takes all of your life straight away, which looks to be the case, because I'm sure that wasn't actually my last life, but oh well. Well, there you go. Right, so let's start the game up again, and let's now actually do the review without me interrupting myself all the time. So as I say, graphically I think it looks great. I've got no complaints about the graphics at all. And the way it's presented is pretty good. I mean, the intro sequence is very typical Psychosis style, you know, lots of impressive graphics which are supposedly animated, but when you actually see them, you see that the animation is staggeringly limited. And yet, you know, they still work well, so there's no complaints about the game's visuals in any way. And I would say the same in terms of the audio. The audio, you know, the music is pretty good, and the fact that it has music and sound effects, you can, is extremely welcome. The gameplay, though, well, if you've played Guns and Ghosts, which of course was released the year before this, you will notice when you're jumping around in particular that the jumping mechanism seems to be a bit sensitive. You're constantly just jumping about all over the place. It's not always intentional. Well, this is exactly the same. So it means if you need to do some precise moves for whatever reason, you've got to be fucking careful that you don't fuck it up. So I got one of the spirit stones. The green magic has slowed all of the enemies down. I want that. Because if I just fall down here, I'm now going to go down another screen. Oh, I like that. Another spirit stone. So it is a bit of a shame, but it's the gameplay where the game falls down. You could almost say, well, if they're going to copy Psychosis, go all the way, and they have, because looking impressive and sounding impressive, but the gameplay is not very impressive. That is absolutely the hallmark of Psychosis titles. So maybe, yeah, this is certainly indicative of Psytronik being made up of ex-Psychosis members. Like I say, I don't know if that is the case, if you know, they are former employees of Psychosis. It's just the impression I get from the way that the games and that are presented. Right, yeah, that's a dead end up there, so oh, fuck, here we go. Fuck off! Oh. But I would like to ask either Georg or Trevor, whichever one it was that came up with the idea, why the fuck did you give this game fucking starting points? Why the fuck didn't you just let people continue in the same room if they lost a life? There's a few more items down below that I could... Oh, you cunt! Okay. That could have been worse. Let's see what's down here. I haven't been this way before. Good job I had that stone amulet effect. I only just got away with that. And when you consider that this is the most well-known, or at least I'm fairly sure this is like the most well-known game that Georg and Trevor have done, I just thought it would be better than this. I mean, okay, you know, you certainly can't fault, you know, the visuals, and you can't fault the audio. That's more than handy. Get out of here, you fucking, that's it. After all this, there'll be fuck all of any use around here. Yeah. It's all points. With arcade adventures, I'm really not fussed about points. It's just about making progress in the game. So what do I score it? I mean, it's a bit like old Guns and Ghosts. Yeah, it's certainly not a shit game, but it's a genre that I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, you know, it will come as no surprise. The thing that really puts me off platform gamers is the amount of fucking cutesy bullshit versions of platform games that I fucking detest. But yeah, nevertheless, as soon as I realise that it is a platform game and that's it, I just thought, you know, my enthusiasm just completely drained out of me. It's by no means the worst platform game I've ever played, though. It's not even close to being the worst. It's just that because I've been playing PC games for so long now, I can look beyond the visuals, and what I find is a game that really doesn't keep my interest for very long. Oh fuck it, I thought I'd tie this so that I wouldn't hit that cunt above me. And again, I've found something that stopped that moving bloody stone, but in a position where I couldn't avoid it anyway. Let's try and get past here. Didn't see what that was. Oh, I found an extra life. Well, that's certainly handy. Oh, well, I hope there was nothing interesting in either of those places, because, oh, okay, no there wasn't. That's a good job, really. And when a game reminds you of Impossible Mission, because it, well, let's face it, because it just completely lifts some of its game mechanics from Impossible Mission, you think, well, I can't really complain about that, can I? Ah, there's the key that I needed. All I've got to do now is actually, well, first of all, get to the place where I need it, and secondly, find where the fuck it is. Well, I don't think it's down here. I can't even remember which way to go. I was just wandering around aimlessly. This is certainly a game where you could do with a map, to put it mildly. So I've got another spirit stone. I don't know how the fuck I got out of there. Alright, this is all going back the way I came. And that's another dead end. Right, so I now haven't got a fucking clue where I'm meant to... Yes, I do. Oh well, this is one way of getting back to where I was. Trouble is, I think I'm just as far... Oh, fuck it. Yeah, I'm just totally lost now as to where I am in the game. So anyway, so I score it... no, I don't want to go that way, I want to go this way. I score the game 6.5 out of 10. So I do have to go the other way first, then turn around and come back again. So I pushed me luck a bit on that one. Yeah, I just remembered, it's up here, isn't it? I want. Okay, let's have a look what's up here. This screen looks vaguely familiar. I think I've been here before. How useful. Ah, bollocks. I think this is my last life, to be honest. I fucking hope it is as well, because I'm just getting bored with it, so I'm just gonna fucking kill myself off. Oh fuck it, I've got an extra. Oh yeah, because I picked up the extra life, didn't I? So yeah, it's a game that looks good, sounds good. It doesn't hold my interest for long at all. And it has things that just really annoy me, and annoy me too much for me to really want to play the game too many times. The worst being the restart points when you lose a life in a platform come arcade adventure type game. That's truly fucking awful decision that they made with that one. So I score the game 5.5 out of 10. So it's not shit, but it's not great. It's, you know, the negative sides pretty much outweigh everything that's positive, so it barely gets above average. So that's Soulless. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Looking beyond the presentation and the graphics, you see that there isn't much here to keep you entertained, to put it mildly. So 5.5 out of 10 for Soulless then, and that brings this review to an end, and we will see you at the next one.